Senator Billick.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister for Broadband, Communications and the Digital Economy, Senator Conroy. Can the Minister advise the Senate of the direct contribution of the National Broadband Network to Australia's economy? In particular, what does the NBN mean for jobs and investment?
The Minister for Broadband, Communications and the Digital Economy, Senator Conroy.
Thank you, Mr President. Can I thank the Senator for her question and interest in the NBN and jobs. Mr President, the National Broadband Network is generating new jobs and new investment in our economy. NBN Co has awarded contracts worth over $2 billion to companies operating in Australia that provide equipment for NBN installation in homes and businesses. Prysmian, Corning, Warren and Brown are just three examples of the new investment and job opportunities, Mr President, flowing from the National Broadband Network. Last week, I visited the Prysmian plant at Dee Why on Sydney's northern beaches. Prysmian has invested more than $11 million to manufacture the specialised ribbon fibre optic cables being used for the NBN. One of those you can see here. Mr President, 576 fibres in that cable. Just so you understand
Senator Conroy.
what this debate is about on that side.
Senator Conroy.
Mr President,
Senator Conroy, just hold for a moment. Senator Conroy, continue.
Mr President, the 5-year contract ensures job certainty for the 125 Dee Why staff, and up to 50 new local jobs will also be created. And in May, Mr President, I visited the expanded Corning facility in Clayton, Victoria, where they will manufacture optical fibre cable and hardware. Mr President, this company is investing up to $40 million in its Clayton operations, adding around 300 to 400 new jobs during the peak of the NBN rollout. Mr President, Warren and Brown Technologies have been awarded contracts for fibre wall outlets and other equipment. The NBN contracts have resulted in 40 new jobs in their state-of-the-art facility in Maidstone, Melbourne.
Senator Brandis.
On relevance, might the minister, in responding to Senator Billick's question, tell the Senate how many customers the NBN has?
That's not a point of order. Senator
The NBN
Conroy.
is creating new jobs, new investment in cable plants and new research and development in Australia.
Order. Senator Billick.
Thank you, Mr President, and I thank the Minister for the answer. My first supplementary. Can the Minister provide any further information about jobs directly created by the NBN? And in particular, can the Minister provide information on jobs being created in the private sector?
Order. The Minister.
Mr President, apart from the jobs created in places like Prysmian, Corning and Warren and Brown, the NBN is a massive engineering exercise. NBN has contracted with leading firms like Transfield, Silcar, Synthio, VisionStream and Siemens for the construction of the NBN. Today, those contractors employ more than 1,000 workers to build the National Broadband Network. And at peak, Mr President, at peak there will be more than 16,000 private sector workers building the fibre network alone. 16,000. Mr President, these contractors will be installing the fibre being manufactured at Corning and Prysmian. And you will know when the NBN is being installed when you see these contractors, Mr President, pulling this green fibre cable through the Telstra ducts. And only one thing can threaten that, Mr President.
Time's expired. Senator Billick.
Thank you, Mr President. My second supplementary question. Can the Minister advise what risks there are to these jobs and this investment?
And tell us how many customers you've got.
Order. The Minister.
17,000 again. Mr President, the single biggest risk to these jobs...
Senator Conroy, just resume your seat. Now, when there's silence, we'll proceed. Now, when I said when there is silence, we'll proceed. Senator Conroy.
Thank you, Mr President. Mr President, the single biggest risk to those jobs, the 16,000, the hundreds and hundreds manufacturing fibre, is of course those opposite and the Leader of the Opposition, Mr Abbott. The Leader of the Opposition described the NBN as a great leap backwards. He told the Sydney Institute, "We won't keep Labor's NBN because there's no need for it." The Opposition, Mr President, will not even commit to a network that can deliver the 50 megabit services the Victorian government says that 350,000 Victorians are demanding. That is, Mr President, very simply, very simple. They want to build, as Citibank stated, a cheap and dirty network. A cheap and dirty network. A one-lane Sydney Harbour Bridge is all you have.
Order.